our DOS Rec nutrition lecture series, we talked at length about the power of plants. And this month, we're going to be talking about the core 4 healthy lifestyle habits that matter. So when you are thinking about what does it mean to live a healthy lifestyle, how do I actually apply that probably overused, very common phrase into practice, into my life, so that I can start affecting my health? That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you didn't catch the lecture from last month, make sure you go back, and that recording is posted. So you can follow me here on Facebook at Jackie Williams Wellness. I have a lot of different lecture series that I definitely love to share as much as possible. I want to thank DOS Rec today for sponsoring this one. It's an honor to share about what I'm really passionate about, which is educating and empowering others through lifestyle habits. I feel like it's the best approach to really truly improving our wellness as a whole, physically and nutritionally and spiritually. And I've been in the industry for 15 years working as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And I absolutely love that I get to go out and impact people in simple ways. So again, today we are talking about the core 4 healthy living lifestyle habits that really matter the most and can have the greatest impact on your health today. When it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, there really are lots and lots of factors that come into play, as you know. But these are the core 4 that researchers have shown us matter the most. So if you can start applying these 4 concepts into your healthy living lifestyle, you can start affecting your health today and tomorrow and for the years to come. So we're going to be looking at the 4 core habits. What are they? First, it's drinking enough water, hydrating your body, getting enough movement, exactly how much I'll tell you, eating really good foods that nourish your body, and finally getting enough sleep and recovering every single day. Before we move on, I do like to stop and just ask you this simple question. How do you define health? If you'll pop it in the comments below, I would really love to hear what healthy means to you. Most of us tend to err towards feeling like we're healthy if we are not dealing with disease. Whereas instead of thinking about health as an overall quality of life that encompasses, not just the absence of disease, but true, complete physical health and mental health, as well as social well-being. I like to, pair the two and put them together and really feel like health can be practiced and approached in light of both. So we talk about this often, the health statistics that our country is facing. I know it's kind of a downer, but I do want to just briefly remind you guys why we have these kinds of conversations. When we're talking about the health in America right now, 80% of people are dealing with some type of chronic disease. And while these statistics are really staggering, it really hits close to home for most of us. Many of us have people that we know and love that one of these things is affecting. It might even be ourselves. So if this is something that concerns you, I'd love for you just to pop it in the comments what that might be, just so you can see there are others out there dealing with similar things, and that we're all in this together for this fight to get our health back. Those are the adult statistics. Our kids are really kind of facing something similar in terms of our health. Unfortunately, 1 in 2 children are suffering from some kind of chronic condition. And while that's sad and disappointing, what I want to leave you here with today is empowering education that can lead you in a different direction for both you and your family, to know that the right lifestyle habits really can start to combat these concerns and these conditions and improve your quality of life and your overall health. So let's real briefly just talk about what are the things that we are up against. Why are we facing such an epidemic in our health today in America? There's 5 main things, 6 main things, okay? I'm gonna breeze through these because I really wanna get to what you can do to affect them, but I don't wanna overlook why we're in this situation to begin with. The first is this increase in environmental toxins all around us. Toxins are everywhere, whether it's in the water we're drinking, the food we're eating, the air we're breathing, and of course the products we're consuming. Um, this exposure to increased toxins starts to affect our health in ways of oxidative stress, inflammation, as well as damage to our DNA. And those things lead to an increased risk of disease. I don't like to focus too much on this because I feel like it can feel a little bit out of our control, right? Like we can only control so much the quality of our air or our water, although there are definitely precautions you can start to take so that you are limiting that toxin exposure, specifically through the products you're choosing and the foods you're eating. But when we're talking about food, the food quality is decreasing. And food is one of our main ways to fight back toxins because it actually can detoxify our body. So choosing quality food is going to be really important and something I'll definitely speak more to. But right now, if you look at our food, most of it has tons of added chemicals and preservatives and pesticides, as well as artificial sweeteners or sugars, and tons of fillers, things that are just not good for our bodies, that our bodies are not designed to intake or process. On top of all of the added things in our foods, really we're seeing a decrease in food nutrition overall, whether it's over producing on our farms, not replenishing the soils, or just all of those environmental toxins getting into our produce at the same time. So our diets are definitely lacking in quality nutrition, and that is going to play a role in our overall health. Third, you're going to see that we are sitting more, just as a society, we are sitting more and for longer periods of time. And this is going to just increase our risk for cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, deep vein thrombosis, cancer, obesity, osteoporosis. It also contributes to muscle mass loss and as well as anxiety and depression. So we need to get out and move more. We are moving less. It's 60 to 75 minutes of moderate intensity is what we need every single day. And most of us are just not getting that. If you sit back and take a look at your lifestyle, chances are you are sitting far more than you are moving. So even just standing up is becoming a lost form. Finally, the last two, we are much more stressed just as a society. It is rampant, unfortunately. We are chronically stressed. And in this prolonged, heightened state of fight or flight, our sympathetic nervous system is on and it's an overdrive. Unfortunately, this really does start to affect our health, mentally, physically, personally, and professionally, as I'm sure you've experienced yourself. One way to combat that stress is to sleep more, but we are sleeping less. As adults, 35% of us are not getting enough sleep, which is 7 or more hours per day recommended. And those who are not getting enough sleep, you guys, listen, 10 chronic health conditions compared to those who get enough sleep on average, 10 times more, which is amazing to me, and something so simple as sleep that we tend to overlook. So all of that to say, 75% of it is preventable through lifestyle, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the 4 core lifestyle habits that really, really matter, okay, when it comes to our health. Like I said, there's several, but these are the core 4 that researchers have found to be the biggest indicators of our health status. And they're pretty simple and straightforward when you look at them, right? You're like, oh, of course, I know these 4. I can probably tune Jackie out from here on out. But here's the truth. Only 3% of us are actually doing these lifestyle habits every single day. 3% of our population is moving and drinking and sleeping and eating well. That number blows my mind. And if you're tuning into this today, chances are, your health is already a priority to you. You probably are doing these things already. I want to commend you for that. And I also want to tell you that if you're not in that space yet, this is going to be a really simple way for you to start applying some of these lifestyle habits, okay? So it's not going to be complicated. I want it to be simple so we can actually start doing it and doing it together every single day. So the first is movement. I'm going to go into each of these in detail, but we need to be moving every single day to create that hormonal response and metabolic response to get our bodies flushing toxins and getting blood flow through the lymph system, increasing our muscle mass, which is going to help us stay healthy longer and prevent injury over time. But it's also really good for stress reduction and mental health, as well as a lot of other things, as you probably know. If you're on this page, you're probably already an active mover, so good for you. The second thing is to drink. Drink enough water to stay hydrated. Most of us are chronically dehydrated and we need water. Our body is so important when it comes to its fully functioning, whether it's depleting toxins or fat, whether it's increasing your workout performance or increasing your energy levels. It also helps with brain function as well as digestion and, of course, your metabolism as well. We'll talk more about that. Third is sleep. The third habit is sleep. We need to rest and recover if we're going to fully repair and renew our bodies. And this is something that we tend to neglect. It's last on our list, am I right? But when we do that, it has this cascade effect on the rest of our health. We don't have enough energy for our workouts, right? Our hunger hormones are totally off track and we don't eat as well as we might be. Our stress level is even more heightened because we haven't had that chance to increase the melatonin, which kind of balances our cortisol. So sleep is important. I'm going to talk at length about that. And then finally, the last habit is going to be eating well. We know this, tried and true. I say it all the time. You know, there's one of the best things that you can do for your health is just nourish it properly with the macronutrients and the micronutrients that are going to sustain it so that it can work optimally for you. Every bodily function comes back to how are we fueling our bodies. So let's talk about movement. As you know, exercise is one of the most important components to our lifestyle. It helps control our body weight, which also helps us maintain muscle mass and strong bones, especially as we get older. This is really important. It improves our cardiovascular function, our heart health, and reduces heart disease risk. It helps manage our blood sugar and our insulin levels. So especially if you're at risk for diabetes, which chances are you are, if you saw those statistics, our diabetes numbers are definitely one of the fastest growing. So movement can help with that. It actually helps your body produce or fight off that insulin and really increase your insulin sensitivity. And then improves your mental function. We know this. You'll always feel better when you get some movement in, as well as your brain function, because we're getting that blood flowing into our brain, which you might forget is important, but it is super important. And lastly, it improves your energy levels. You always feel a little bit more energized when you get your blood flowing, especially in the morning, and it improves your sleep quality as well. So make sure we are moving every single day, but how much movement do we need? Studies find you actually only need about 30 minutes a day to start making a difference in your health. Like I said, it's recommended to get closer to 60 to 75 minutes if you can, but even just a minimum of 30 minutes a day is huge. Now, 30 minutes a day, at least 5 times a week is ideal. Okay, so that's your recommendation. I want you to put on your to-do list, 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. You can do something as simple as walking. Walking is amazing, especially first thing in the morning to get that blood flowing, help bring down those cortisol levels. But if you can increase that to something a little bit more moderately intense and some kind of physical activity that's going to get your heart rate up, that's even better. I highly recommend strength training as a part of your program. That's not something you necessarily need to do 5 times a week. We'll talk about that here next, but strength training is going to be key for keeping that muscle mass on and building strength in your bones. So this is something I like to use and share for those of you who want to improve, how you're moving and doing it in an effective way. It's the F.I.T.T principle. So when you were thinking about how am I going to structure my workouts for 5 days a week, maybe you don't want to strength train every single day or walk every single day, you can take into consideration these 4 principles. The first is frequency. How often are you exercising per week? That's going to play a role. The next is intensity. How intense are your workouts and how intense do they need to be? The third is time. How long do you need to be working out? And the fourth is type. What type of exercise are you doing based on your health and fitness goals? So these are the 4 variables you're going to put into play when deciding how you're going to work out for your week or for your month. And a great way to kind of use this as a cheat sheet is you're hitting all 4 and not all at once. So for example, if I'm going to work out 5 days a week, my intensity is going to vary. I'm not going to work out in high intensity all 5 days a week. but also not all low intensity all 5 days a week. I want it to vary. Also, the type can vary. So I might have, a couple days a week where I'm doing that strength training, building the muscles and strong bones, and another couple days a week where I'm factoring in more of a slow and steady state cardio. Okay, so you want to vary these things. Time can also vary as well. But that's just a little bit of a cheat sheet. I have a great PDF downloadable file that I can, it marks it all out for you dependent upon your goals. If you want that, just shoot me an email or message and I'll send it to you. Okay, so here are a couple quick health hacks for you to make movement a little bit more doable. Okay, so if you're coming here and you're like, I just don't know if I can fit it in, or I don't know if I can do the 30 minutes a day or exactly what to do, these are my little health hacks. Okay, just get dressed is the first one. If you get dressed for a workout, your chances are much more likely that you're actually going to go do it. Second is to find an accountability buddy or a group. We love, keeping each other accountable, because if you don't show up, you're letting somebody down, and vice versa. So you're much more likely to stay committed that way. Sign up ahead of time if you can for your classes, or hire a personal trainer. You can definitely access those at your local DOS-REC here, and then use a tracker or log your workouts in some way. I love to just do it on my planner and just plan it out for the week using that FIT principle, like seeing how I'm going to do it. It also makes sure that I'm not just showing up and kind of just halfway working out. I'm going to my workout with some intention of what I want to do that day. So I think that that can be really helpful. And the next is to reward yourself for your effort and to track your progress. Obviously, this is much easier when you are hiring a professional like a personal trainer to do that with you and for you, or show you how to do that. But there's some really great ways that you can just incentivize yourself. One of the things I love to share with my clients is to get your calendar, and every day that you work out, you put in, you cross out that day. And every day that you also eat well, you cross out the other way. So at the end of the day, you have an X. I worked out and I ate well. And that is your goal, to get as many X's as you can filled up on that calendar. And if I get 20 X's that month, then I get to reward myself in some way. You decide. The other thing I love to teach people is about this non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's called NEAT. It's really important that you keep in mind that one of the key things about moving as a lifestyle habit is not just your hour or your 30 minutes that you're exercising intentionally. Moving also means getting up from your desk and moving as much as possible. All of that non-exercise activity adds up throughout the day. So the more that you can do that, set your watch to remind you every hour you're getting up, and you're just taking a brief lap for 2 minutes or something like that. Try and keep your body moving in those seemingly insignificant moments of your day, and it does add up. And then finally, again, follow that FIT principle, or reach out to one of your personal trainers if you want a little bit more direction on how you should be programming your workouts. Okay, moving on. Our second lifestyle habit here is drink. Drink, drink, drink. We are chronically dehydrated, and water is key to all of our bodily functions. So how do you think your body is getting along if all of its functions come down to how much water and the quality of water it's getting, and we're just not supplying it with that? I love this health habit because it's so simple. And you might think, okay, I know I need to drink enough water. But are you? And can you drink more? Because chances are you're just not getting enough. Your body is 60% water. And so we really want to make sure that we're drinking it, not just, enough, but often throughout the day. So my recommendation is 8 ounces, 8 times a day. And that seems like a lot. Some of us have some really great, tips and tricks to make sure we're getting that water in. I love to get a refillable container that you can track. So if you are the type that, have a harder time getting your water intake in, and you're just not quite sure if you're getting enough, make sure you're getting it in a container that you can track and count about how much you're getting. I also love to recommend adding in fruits and herbs to flavor your water so that it's a little bit more savory, and you're actually much more likely to reach for it as you go. And this is really simple. So you can do lemon and mint, or I love cucumber and lemon. Strawberries are great, strawberries and basil. Just about anything, you really can't go wrong. Even just throwing some lemon in there can do a lot. Another thing I tend to do is add in some coconut water. I love a really good quality coconut water because it is additionally hydrating. It's full of really great minerals for you and electrolytes, and it also adds in some sweetness. So coconut water is another trick. Definitely consider first thing in the morning going for water, especially if you're a coffee drinker. We wake up dehydrated. Our body has actually gone through the process of dehydration during the evening, during the sleep time. So wake up first thing in the morning. I want you to take a drink of water just first thing. And then also do it before you go to bed. Now, it doesn't need to be right before you go to bed, especially if you don't want to wake up to have to use the restroom in the middle of the night, or if that's something that you don't want to add to. Just make sure as part of your nightly routine that you are consuming some water, because your body will use it as you're sleeping. Another tip is to drink between meals, especially if you find that you are often hungry throughout the day in ways that you don't feel like maybe you should be. Drink first. Sometimes hunger is actually more of a thirst cue. So when we're thirsty, we might feel like we're hungry, but we're actually thirsty and we need to drink some water. Plus, it's a great way to kind of just make sure that you're eating, not overeating. So drink water between meals. And lastly, look for signs of dehydration. Thirst or hunger, like I said, as well as a decrease in metabolism or fat loss. If you've kind of hit a plateau, maybe upping your water intake. Fat loss is huge when it comes to, or water intake is huge when it comes to fat loss. Dry skin, especially. And then, are you feeling fatigue? I want to challenge you, if you have that afternoon slump, to go drink a glass of water and see how it affects your energy. You'll also notice a decrease in athletic performance because our muscles are 60% water. So how can they perform optimally if they're not hydrated? As well as an increased body temperature in the morning. So you can track your body temperature in the morning and see if that's something that registers for you. If you have muscle cramping, that's pretty obvious. Headache, as well as nausea and dark colored urine. We really want that to be as clear as possible all day long. And as well as impaired vision. Our eyes need water just like the rest of our organs, as well as our mouth and nose and eye. If you tend to notice that you're more dry, it might be a sign of dehydration. So make sure you're providing your body with that water, which is the medium that all of our cells use to, properly function. So stay hydrated. That's an easy one, right? We should all be doing that already. Sleep, on the other hand, is a different story. I know most of us have really busy, full lives, and sleep tends to be the last thing on our list, right? But our body needs sleep. It needs sleep so much. That is when our hormones reset and rebalance. It's when our cells repair. It's when our muscles rebuild. It's when our fat is actually most burned, is while we're sleeping. And so if you're not getting enough sleep, you're robbing your body of precious time that it needs to repair and renew. 30% of us are suffering from insomnia. I think that's a huge number when it comes to something as important as sleep. Of that 30%, 75 to 95% have an increased risk of medical conditions because of that lack of sleep. Things like obesity, mood issues, poor brain function, as well as a significant decrease in our immune system function. So I cannot stress enough how much you need sleep. Most of us know that, but we've kind of become so busy and we've just put it last on our to-do list. And this lack of sleep is going to lead to a decrease in your glucose tolerance. So how you're pushing out that blood sugar or sugar from your blood. It's going to lead to a drop in your white blood cell count, those good immune system cells that fight off infection. It's going to lead to an imbalance between your cortisol, your stress hormone, and your melatonin, that sleep hormone. So we end up not just tired, but we end up hungry, we end up cranky, and we end up sick. All because we have not given our bodies the proper sleep that it needs. We can't think straight, we can't work effectively, and we can't maximize our workouts, among other things. We can't lose fat, we can't gain muscle. Sleep is everything, especially when it comes to lifestyle habits. This is last on our list, and I want it to go to the top. Most of us, like I said before, we're living in a very stressful era, and stress it's the same as sleep or a lack of sleep in our bodies. And so I want you to, next time you think that you don't need sleep, I want you to remember that that is causing stress in your body. So I'm just going to couple these two together. They kind of go hand in hand. Most of us think that, stress is a pounding heart rate and, sweaty pits, and like that's what stress is. But the truth is, we are living in this constant state of stress, this constant heightened fight or flight sympathetic nervous system response. And it's really important that we start to bring that down physiologically so that we can start to allow our bodies to move into that parasympathetic restful state that it needs to be, because that can actually do a lot of damage long term. So when it comes to sleep, we know we need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, but the key is quality. Okay, and I know that's hard for some of us, whether it's our stress levels, or maybe we have young kids at home, what have you, but making it a priority in your health and in your healthy living habits is going to pay off. It's going to really make a difference. So these are some of my health hacks when it comes to improving your sleep. The first is to set a sleep schedule and really protect it. Protect it around the natural sleep to wake cycles that nature and our bodies want to follow. Anytime we try and go against nature or our body's natural response, that's when we can start to get into trouble. So set that sleep schedule. Again, 7 to 9 hours is ideal, and protect it. Some of the ways you can protect it is by creating sleep rituals at night. So I know about 30 minutes before bed, you need to turn the phones off. Televisions need to be off. Any of that blue light or even ambient light can start to decrease your melatonin production. Remember, your melatonin is going to be your sleep hormone. It's actually what's going to induce that tired feeling and allow you to sleep. And melatonin is so important for our bodies. It's not just a sleep hormone. It actually helps balance our cortisol or our stress levels. And it actually has been shown to have some anti-cancer effects as well. Melatonin is really important for our overall health. And that blue light at night actually shuts it off. It turns it down. So if you are having a harder time going to sleep, especially turn the blue lights off, turn the television off, but also just to protect that sleep health, that sleep hygiene I recommend turning it off at least 30 minutes prior. If you are finding that you're having a difficult time in the sleep department, keeping a sleep tracker, there's some really great apps on your phone, or even a log can help you so that you can kind of track like what are the things that maybe are affecting your sleep quality or your sleep duration, and start to get a better idea of how you can start to make changes to affect that. I do also love aromatherapy, using some kind of essential oils that induce sleep. Lavender is really great. Light reading, something that isn't going to give you too much to think about, just something to kind of zone out so that you cannot think, so that your body can relax. That's really great at night, as well as a low beats per minute music. So we don't want anything fast. It's going to kind of hype you up. You want something nice and low and slow that's going to have a calming effect. Chamomile tea, which I'm sure you've heard over the years, is actually really great. This actually will physiologically start to induce sleep. And there's some other supplements. If you're interested in any of those, feel free to reach out to me. I can recommend those on a personal basis. And then limiting alcohol and caffeine is huge. It actually has a really detrimental effect to our sleep quality. You think alcohol, because it's a depressant, actually will help you sleep, but once it's been processed through your blood, it actually can wake you up. And then caffeine, obviously, is going to prevent you from getting good quality of sleep as well. So you want to limit that and at least not have it within so many hours. So to stress less, these are my top 2 recommendations. I do have a couple others, but the first is to take 3 breaths. Physiologically, when you stop and take deep, relaxing breath, which when is the last time you stopped to do that intentionally, it actually starts to turn things on and off in your body. So if you can make that a priority, it's so simple. You can take it anywhere. You don't even need to pay for it. Just breathe. Okay. It's going to actually start to bring down your cortisol, turn down that sympathetic nervous system, reset, and renew. And the second thing is to move. Movement is huge because it's going to help also kind of counteract any of those hormonal responses and help your body kind of just decompress. But here's the thing about movement is you want to make sure you're not doing it within at least 3 hours from working out, because that's going to increase your heart rate, increase your blood pressure, and we want to do the opposite when we're trying to go to sleep. So movement is really important. It's going to help you stress less, but not around your sleep time. Some other ideas here to help you kind of just stress a little bit less is to laugh out loud once a day. It's amazing for our health is laughter. It has so many great things. I always love recommending to start a DIY project, something that, you can kind of, some of them can be stressful, let's be real, but you can kind of just decompress and zone out, just focusing on a craft or painting furniture or building something that you're using your mental space to produce or create something is really powerful. Also, taking that time to decompress. It sounds so simple, right? But most of us are not doing it. We are not taking time out of our day for us to chill. And I highly recommend adding meditation to your routine to do that. The physiological responses that are shown to happen within your body, in your brain, in your sympathetic nervous system, as well as to your hormones, it actually starts to change the functions of your brain. So look into meditation if you haven't already. That's something simple you can do. Guided meditations, 5, 10, 20 minutes a day can really do a lot for your health and help you stress less. Next is to spend 20 minutes at least 20 minutes outside every day. And I know that sounds trivial, but are we doing it? Are we spending 20 minutes outside in nature, not on our phones, not worried and stressed about what else is going on, just allowing nature to do its thing because it's really powerful, and most of us just aren't getting enough time in nature. A gratitude journal. So there's 2 things I recommend when it comes to journaling. I recommend at night you release all of your worries and your concerns and your to-dos, and you put them on paper before you go to bed. Because how many of you are laying there in bed trying to go to sleep thinking about all the things you didn't do that day that you still need to get done, all the things you need to do tomorrow, etc. But if you put it on paper, let it go for the day. You can pick it back up tomorrow and you're going to get much better sleep, and it's just going to kind of allow you to de-stress. And if you wake up in the morning with gratitude and excitement for your day and not try and think so much about what you need to do first thing, obviously you'll get there. You got a to-do list, right? We all got things to do. But if you can start that day with some gratitude, with some thankfulness, it actually can start to decrease your stress as well. It's very powerful for your brain. Along with that is limiting your exposure to the news or any negative things out there. Our brains are naturally attracted to conflict and negativity, and it's just not good for our stress hormones. Like I said, we're living kind of in a time where we're all in this heightened state of stress, and it's really going to have detrimental effects on our health long term. So the more we can limit that, the better. That includes time boxing outside stressors. So limiting yourself to how much social media are you consuming, how much time are you spent sitting and literally worrying about things. We're all going to do it. It's natural. It's part of our human experience, but we need to limit it, and we need to put a time box around it and be intentional about that. And the last 2 things are really important because the truth is sometimes the stress becomes too much. It's too much to handle. And I think we've all been there at some point in our lives. And I want to encourage you, if that's something that you ever feel, to reach out and ask for help. People would love to be supportive of that. And if needed, obviously seek therapy as well. Okay, moving on to our final health habit, eating well. How many of you think we know exactly what to do, how much to eat, when to eat, all of those great things. There's so much information out there is what I always tell people. It's so confusing, it's so conflicting, and sometimes that confusion can kind of really stop us or slow us down from nourishing our bodies in the way that we need to. So if that's you, you feel a little bit lost on how exactly to eat well, I would love to talk more with you. Feel free to reach out to me. The last event that we did was specifically on fueling our bodies with plants and the top 10 things you should be eating every day to really maximize your health. It's not just about calories in, calories out. It's also about the kinds of macronutrients you're getting, the micronutrients you're getting that actually support your bodily functions, your metabolism, your hunger hormones, and obviously your overall health. And food can be a very powerful way to help prevent disease as well. Oh, and I love sharing this quote from Mark Hyman. He's somebody I definitely look up to when it comes to understanding how to eat well. And he says, food has the power to heal us. It is the most potent tool we have to help prevent and treat many of our chronic diseases. And it's so true. So when it comes to eating well, there's 4 things I want you to think about. The first is the macronutrients. Macronutrients are the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins, the fiber in our food that give us fuel or gas in our bodies. So it's just like putting gas in a car. That is what's going to give you the energy to go. But the second thing that we tend to neglect is micronutrients. Micros are those smaller vitamins and minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, polyphenols, things like that that act like an oil in our body, just like an oil in our car. And that's really the combination of the two that we use to define a healthy diet and eating well. Along with that come antioxidants and phytonutrients. So again, our diet, we saw in the beginning that we are in an era where we are unfortunately consuming less nutrient dense foods. And really it's the nutrients that are going to help heal and protect us. So the first one you see here, antioxidants. When you hear of oxidative stress or free radicals, it's damage that is being done inside our bodies. And stress will do that, but also just breathing air, creating oxygen, creates oxidative stress. And so antioxidants are the only way to combat that oxidative stress that is caused from living life. And on a cellular level, those antioxidants are going to actually fight those free radicals. So it's just like this apple here that I love to always show in my presentations. If you cut an apple, what happens? It turns brown from the oxygen damaging those cells. And just like our bodies, it's that aging process. But if you squeeze a lemon on half of it, antioxidants on half of it, that absorbic acid, that vitamin C, that antioxidants actually fight the oxidative stress and will preserve it a little bit longer. Give it a longer life, a healthier life, just for at least a short bit of time. So if you look at antioxidants in our foods, is doing the same thing on a cellular level within our cells. That's why antioxidants are so important. They help fight those free radicals that cause damage to our DNA, to our cells, cause inflammation in our bodies, which then lead to chronic diseases. Same thing goes for phytonutrients. So phytonutrients are going to be all the plant chemicals that are found mostly in fruits and vegetables, and they actually will work intracellularly as well to repair DNA damage or prevent it, to detoxify any carcinogens or toxins that get into our body. They actually help protect and prevent on a cellular level. And so highly recommend making sure you're getting enough of a lot of fruits and veggies and berries, colorful foods that are going to fuel, prevent, and protect on a cellular level. But are you? And this is something I talked at length about in our last nutrition lecture, was the power of plants, because most of us are not getting enough. 9 out of 10 of us are not getting enough fruits and veggies every single day. And neither are our kids. And it's one of the most effective, most important ways that we can start to prevent some of those chronic diseases that we are facing as a country, but also just feel better, live better, have more energy, better digestion, all of the great things that we quantify as feeling healthy can be found in fruits and vegetables. So get your fruits and veggies in. Grandma was right. Of course she was. And then these are my Eat Well health hacks. Just a few things that are important to me that I love to share with my clients. The first is balancing those macros and micros, not just focusing on your macronutrients, your carbohydrates, your calories, your protein. Yes, those things are important, but equally important are those micronutrients, the antioxidants, the phytonutrients, the vitamins and minerals that you're getting into your body through your food. Aim for 5 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies every single day, because we are up against so much, and that's our best line of defense. If you are already dealing with a chronic disease or health concern, that number can actually double. So that's a lot of fruits and veggies, but it's a really good way to help kind of combat some of that. Third is to pay attention to portions. When we're eating well, we want to make sure that the foods that maybe we should be eating a little bit less of, we are, and the foods that are going to be good for us, we kind of prioritize our portions there. I use a really great trick of using our hand as a portion guide. I definitely talk more about that in some of our other lectures, so stay tuned. And then choose colorful whole foods. So if in doubt, just try and fill your plate with a rainbow of color. When you're at the grocery store, check your cart. Are you getting greens and whites and yellows and oranges and purples and reds in your cart and in your diet every single day? Cutting down on the processed foods in the process. So fill your cart with whole foods as much as possible. Fill your plate with whole foods as much as possible, and start to limit the processed foods. If you need help with that, keeping a food journal is a really great way to start. It just allows you to be a little bit more aware of the foods that you are consuming and how much you're eating, etc. And then eat slowly and be mindful about it. I know we're so busy, we're on the go, we tend to just eat in a rush. And I think when we stop and sit and think about, why are we eating? Are we even really hungry? How is this food fueling our body? Is it serving our body? Is it making us feel good? Is it nourishing us? And enjoying it really is a powerful way to eat well. And then eat until only about 80% full. Especially since most of us are eating on the go or eating quickly, we tend to eat really fast, and then it's really easy to overeat. So if you only eat to about 80% full, give your body that time to actually fully register that it's been fed, which takes about 20 minutes to feel that fullness. You can definitely save off from overeating as frequently. And then try new recipes and make simple changes over time. So you don't have to make all of these changes all at once. Pick one or two things that you can start to put into practice. And remember, it's practice. These are healthy living habits. These are things that you want to start to do so that they can become habit. And you don't want to stress about it. You just want to pick a couple things that work for you. So I do offer a free downloadable cookbook. So if there are some new recipes you want to try, you can just pop over to my website, jackiewilliams.com, and you can get that downloaded right away. And that's a great way to, get some healthier foods in for yourself. I do offer additional nutrition guides as well as supplement recommendations, again, on a personal basis, if that's something that you feel like you might need in your life, as well as additional wellness services and workshops. So stay tuned for, future upcoming nutrition lectures, as well as in-person seminars, hopefully here one day soon. I also offer one-on-one consultations, as well as group events and healthy living demos, smoothies, making protein balls, things like that. Upcoming e-courses, so, downloadable cookbook is a great way to get started. And you can also check out some of the coaching programs and nutrition guides that I offer. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about that information, hopefully it was straightforward and simple enough that you can start applying it right away, but feel free to always reach out to me, either via email or right here on Facebook. And I look forward to connecting with you all in the future. Don't forget to get your free download on your cookbook, and hop over to my page and hit follow if you will. Stay tuned here for upcoming nutrition lectures. We have one every single month. And I would love to connect with you in the comments below this video. So if you were able to tune in, let me know. Say hi, tell me where you tuned in from. And if you happen to have any questions at all, anytime, just put them below or reach out to me personally, and I will definitely get back to you. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Y'all have a great weekend.